And there was a cold call, of course. So yeah, I'm basically saying here, well, they literally have no evidence to back up what they're stating in this. So after this point in this thing, why should I continue on reading? Go on, down in the comment section. Tell me why I should bother reading this if you know, if everything they state, you know, all the evidence for it has already been destroyed and they have no way of proving what they have. And if I even remember correctly, this was like something that they couldn't even the British government probably didn't even have records on, because I think it was, I can't remember what it was exactly, but I think I remember thinking that's probably something that the British government back then couldn't keep track of, because it would rely way too much on like the actual soldiers themselves just being like, yeah, we did this horrible atrocity, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I doubt it would be something the British government did or could have, you know, kept record of. Maybe I could be wrong. So I'm just going to close that and onto this weird article. If you want to watch their video, I'll leave a link down to their video, which will leave a link down to all of their you know, things for it. But yeah, some of the things they stated, I just basically took some notes here. All I could find about this was an article where, yeah, so that was the one we were just talking about earlier, the historical event, not just some random guy on the internet, especially as someone on the thing claimed that the British invaded the richest country of the world for 1,700 years. I don't think they said, well, I copy and pasted that, but I don't think they meant that Britain was there for 1,700 years. I think the country was the richest country for 1,700 years until the British went there. If they were really that rich, then they could just buy a massive army and repel the British forces quite easily. That's literally how wars are won. Who's got the most money? And yeah, literally, I think that's even how the Americans managed to repel the Brits, get the Brits out of America, because they basically had the funding from the French king. I mean, it made the French king go bankrupt, helping them fight us. But yeah, if they didn't have the financial funding from the French king, we would have just squashed them like bugs, to be honest. They put this up. Britain also resorted to the use of concentration camps to defeat South Africa's Boer population at the turn of the 20th century. Now, without any research, I looked at this and was just like, do they actually believe that anybody had concentration camps in the year 2000? And I looked, and the only British concentration camps that concentration camps that I could find documentation of were in World War I and World War II, nowhere near the 20th century in British India. And then they also cite this thing about you know, they basically said we killed a bunch of people in Tasmania. So I looked it up, and the only thing I could reference to a war in Tasmania was what's known as the Black War. It was the period of violent conflict between British colonists and the Aboriginal Australians in Tasmania from the mid 1820s to 1832, which they said the 1800s, but this is the only war that, you know, only war in Tasmania, you know, that even comes close to the date they gave. The conflict fought largely as guerrilla warfare by both sides, claiming the lives of more than 200 European colonists and between 600 and 900 Aboriginal people. It is debated among historians whether this counts as genocide, but you know, again, it's still debated by them, so you know, it's more of opinion at this point. But in my opinion, well, genocide, by definition, is the eradication of an entire race or species. Yeah, you can see me quite fine. It's starting to get a bit dark. And being as we didn't kill all of them, we just killed quite a few of them. You know, it's not genocide, but it's still quite bad. And I just put here, neither side was without blood on their hands, but I could not find any mention of women forced to wear the severed heads of their husbands around their necks, which they claimed in the video. So it's just like, I don't even know why they put it in. I mean, you've got enough with between 600 and 900 Aboriginal people being dead. I mean, you know, that's still a lot of people dead, even though it's not. I think they actually inflated the numbers in the video. I can't remember exactly, but I think they inflated the numbers a bit. So it's just like, you've already got something that people are currently debating is genocide, but you have to insert lies about women wearing the severed heads of their husbands. I mean, is that really necessary? I mean, really? But yeah, that's pretty much well, not their entire video, but the entire part of that, the British part of that video, well, British Empire part of that video, just not completely deconstructed. It's just like, the sources are iffy at best, to the point where it would take you forever to just read through the entire thing and actually find the bits that they're talking about. So, you know, that's quite bad. Oh, I was supposed to be down there. Oh well. Also here I've just got a short list of good things the British Empire actually did. I'll put these links down in the description below as well, so you can watch them. Well, watch that one and read that one. But there's also Pax Britannica, Latin for British peace, modelled after the Pax Romana, was the period of relative peace between the great powers during which the British Empire became the global hegemonic power and adopted the role of global police force. So the British Empire brought peace. We even defended the US Pilgrims until they stabbed us in the back eventually, because the French really wanted to take them over, and we basically protected them from the French. Because alone, if we didn't protect them, then the French would have just swept the floor with the Pilgrims and have taken over America. But because we were there, we basically stopped them from taking over the entirety of America, and made a peace treaty between the Native Americans and the colonists. And we also helped defend Canada until they politely asked us to leave. And when they politely asked us to leave, we was like, okay, bye. We're just going to go back to doing what we want to do, and just leave you to do what you want to do. I mean, you know, despite how closely you know, related Canada and America is, you know, one resorts to just stabbing us in the back and starting a big old war, and then so big that it bankrupted the French king, and the other just asked us to leave, politely asked us to leave. I mean, you know, US gained their independence by murder. The Canadians gained their independence by asking politely. I'm just saying. Yeah, so it's just like, I'm not saying that the British Empire was perfect and nothing went wrong, and a lot of people, and I'm not saying that a lot of people didn't die under it. A lot of people did die under it, mainly because it was around for so long that and that eventually, those numbers are gonna go up. No matter what empire it is pretty much gonna rise when it's around that long. I actually commented on this video and got one comment back. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, but they still can't hide the fact that they're 10 times worse than the Nazis and the Japs. Now, what do you mean by 10 times worse? Do you mean they killed 10 times the amount of people, which, the British Empire was around a lot longer than the Nazi Empire, which is just like, yeah, you're bound to have a lot more deaths than the Nazi Party. I mean, they killed a lot of people, but still, that was around for, off the top of an guesstimation here, 50 years-ish, I'd say. Off the top of my head, a guesstimation. Where the British Empire at that point in time was around for over 100 years, easily more than double. That the atrocities that they committed, like they said, not every country is perfect. And again, 10 times worse than the Nazis and the Japs. Name one place that was occupied by Nazi Germany, and then when they were consequently defeated by the British and the Allied forces, was just like, oh no, we want the Nazis back, bring the Nazis back, we don't want them to go. I mean, one place. Go on, give me one place where that happened. You can't, because that never happened. Where when the British left, there was, like I said, there was that, I can't remember his name, because I remember talking to this with my family, and it, like I said, there was that one colony that didn't want us to leave, and when they got attacked, and because they were about to be invaded by someone else, we stayed and defended them. Australia, do you even know what we did to Australia? We basically dumped our prisoners there, and today they still like us. I mean, we're obviously not as bad as the Nazi Party, or well, let's just have a look at what other empires they had on this list. Imperial Japanese, the Spanish Empire. I think the Spanish were actually particularly bad for slavery. Portuguese, Ottoman. So how can you say that we're worse than any of them? French Empire. I think we're just the French Empire and the British Empire were just as bad as each other, because if the British Empire never rose, then we would have gone and taken over by the French Empire. Mongols is only number 5 on this list. I mean, Mongols. Ask any historian and they will say how vicious, how evil, how just not good for anybody the apart from themselves, the Mongols were. Yeah, again, Nazi Germany. How can you say that the British Empire is worse than Nazi Germany, or the Belgian Empire, or the Soviet bloody Union? Right, come on. British Empire. Let's just have a quick look at this. Let's have a look at this. Can I actually... Hold on. There we go. Copy. Let's have a look at this quickly. Ideals of limited government, independence, blah blah blah. It was the British Empire, along with the American, that defend.
Two colossal world wars.
Hold on.
Ideals, global aspirations. It was the British Empire, along with America.
Go back a bit.
It was Britain that gave these ideals to the United States. Independent judiciary, certain inalienable rights, and free markets. That power.
Ideals of limited government, independent judiciary, ineligible rights, free markets. We gave
It was Britain that gave
Let me check if you can.
The largest empire the world has ever known.
Yeah.
Which made these ideas.
We made that worldwide. You know, we just did. Yeah, just watch that video by PragerU. I mean, I don't agree with all of their stuff, but you know. Let's go here. Enfranchised the British people, fought against slavery, united people through sport, gave the world a language, connected the globe with technology, outlawed widow burning in India, stood up to the Nazis, made other countries rich, defended the Ottoman Empire, brought democracy to the world. And yeah, like I said, not perfect, but bloody a lot better than the Nazi Empire. Let's see, what did the Nazi Empire bring to the table? Genocide, murder, the most bloody war in all of history to date. What did the British Empire bring? A lot of death, but peace, freed slaves by throwing a lot of money around, made other countries rich via import and exports, and you know, helped in places like Africa. You know, British people bought the land in Africa and started farming there, helping those countries. You know, say what you will about, you know, the British Empire, but it's nowhere near the worst empire of all time. Like Mongolian, the Nazi, the communist or Russian Empire, easily worse than the British Empire. Yeah, so that's just basically my quick rant. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.